Hey everybody, it's Glenn, and today we're going to talk about level 15, straight up. We're going to talk about level 15, we're going to do some TV Royale as I go through pretty much everything. I'm just going to share my thoughts. I wrote down all my notes over the last, I would say 24 hours since the announcement was made of the video and all that stuff. And I'm just going to go through it. I don't care how long it takes, how many TV Royale games we got to do, but I'm going to share my thoughts and tell you, I guess, give you my take on what level 15 could potentially do to Clash Royale. Okay, so I'm going to get started by just saying that I'm just going through my notes here, just impromptu. What I have, I said, level 15, I guess this is what happens, the main part. Level 15 is not the end of Clash Royale, but there's going to be some issues. So let me just put that out there to start. Okay, now I'm going to go through all my bullet points here, and there's quite a few here. And you let me know in the comments whether I'm just like way crazy or whatever it is, but hopefully you listen to all of what I have to say. Okay, problems. First is the biggest one, and a lot of people have mentioned this already. I've watched a ton of YouTube videos about this over the last few hours since the first video was posted by Clash Royale, by the devs. The biggest is that it's not tied to anything. Level 15 is not tied to anything, and most people have said that it was supposed to be tied to the evolutions, which were also announced officially at the same time as this video. But the feedback that a lot of people have brought to the devs changed their plans. I'm guessing it was supposed to cost gold, then it's supposed to be evolutions, or supposed to be a part of it, and then now that's not the case. So why do we need level 15? At this point, if they just changed everything and level 15 is not tied to anything, then on the surface level, and many people have said this as well, on the surface level, this is just a blatant money grab. And there's no other way to really put it with all the changes that have happened in terms of getting ready for level 15. It kind of stripped it down to what level 15 is about, and there's quite frankly nothing. So I'm willing to say that just on the surface, this is just a blatant money grab. Okay, so the next problem I have written down, I said, takes a long time to complete, which is true. I mean, you've seen all the math. If you've watched a ton of videos, and you know what I'll do? I'll post any videos that I've seen on these takes of level 15. I'll try to post them in the comments so you can go check them out as well. It takes a long time to complete. Now, if you watch my previous video, I just leveled up my last cards and got all of them to level 14 on this account. Now, just for some backstory, just so you know, this is actually my second account, which I started in late 2017. And due to a very quick story here, I did play in 2016, but what happened was one day when I was working out, my iPad got stolen at this local gym. Somebody just went in and just ransacked the whole gym, and my iPad was stolen. And this was just before Supercell announced their ID program, so I basically had to start over. Anyways, so I started this account in late 2017, and I just got the last cards to required to update the guards and bandit, which were the ones I was not guards, but bandit, which was the last one I was waiting for, and I just got those last cards a few days ago. So we're talking about almost 6 years or something like that to finally get to level 14, and have all those cards ready. And I play a lot of Clash Royale, not FX Pro level, playing a lot of games, but I do play a lot of games. But if it took me 6 years and I play a lot of games, I know many more people are not even close to where I am in terms of card progression. So now we're adding another level to this, and this is just going to be, it's going to be a major problem, you know, because it's like, oh, I'm still level 13. I only have a few more cards before I get to level 14. Oh no, now there's another level I have to get to, and I'm still way back here. It's so. It's like, I kind of was thinking of this last night. I was like, imagine if you're hiking up a hill and you want to get to the top, then you realize that, oh, what you think is the summit, no, there's actually another part of it that you have to keep going in order to reach. That's unfortunate. Okay, so the next part I have here is it said, most people have said the requirement to get from level 14 to level 15 with these new elite cards is going to be longer than if someone were to just start playing the game right now, today, first day of playing. Level 1, and you go from level 1 to level 14, that would actually be faster than going from level 14 to 15. And to me, that blows my mind. It's like, why should it take longer to get from 14 to 15 as opposed from 1 to 14? I don't understand that. Like that's a big problem that somebody needs to take a look at. Like, how do you not understand the math behind that? That's crazy. Like, how do you not understand the math of, well, it's gonna take all this time, but yeah, compared to, you know, what it was before, it's like, oh yeah, it's gonna take this much time. I don't get that. Like, that's so wild to me. The next problem I have is that I said everyone who maxed out their account has to start over. I mean, like, I was so happy I maxed out my account, and that lasted a few days. You know, there's this one streamer I follow who plays WoW, and she got all of the achievements, and then I think 3 days later, Blizzard put in a new game mode in WoW, and so she lost that 100% achievement, which is pretty funny. But that's what it feels like. It's like, oh yeah, all these years, and I saved up all these cards, and I got it maxed out, and that joy lasted a few days. So sucks. Okay, next problem I have listed here. It said you need to have a maxed out deck to stand a chance if you really want to progress far, and barely any people do aside from pros and completionists. I'm going to talk about that a little bit more later on throughout the bullet points that I have here. But I think that's a big thing about this update that the devs or other people missed, is that a lot of people want to be pro. I mean, we play this game and, like, you know, there's this dream of perhaps we can become somebody. We can be the next Morton or Mo or Lucas or Sergio. There's almost no chance now because if you don't have level 15, you have no chance. And I'm going to talk about that later on as we go through this here. Okay, the next problem I wrote down said even one upgrade changes matchups. So you have to be selective of the card that's going to get that upgrade. Again, I'm going to talk about this later on as well. But it's not like, I guess, like, people are thinking about it on a macro level in terms of, oh my gosh, there's 100 cards and the time it takes to get all these cards. Like, no, dude, one card, even one card being upgraded versus somebody who doesn't have a card, it's just going to change the game. Again, I'm going to talk about this later on here. Actually, I think I pointed it on the next one here. So in terms of problems, it says, okay, so if we think about, like, what card would you can let me know in the comments, what card would you upgrade first? And for me, like, I was thinking, like, what cards are going to be upgraded first? And I think for me, the answer is Fireball. I think Fireball is going to be the first card. Like, if you gave somebody an option that says, okay, what card would you upgrade first? It's going to be Fireball, because it at one higher level compared to other cards in the game is absolutely game changing. And this is what I was talking about when I said, even one upgrade changes matchups. If you have a level 15 Fireball versus level 14, E-Wiz, Musketeer, Fire Mage, that's an absolute game changer. Because that becomes, I'm pretty sure that's going to be a hard counter for all of them. That's one card. We're not talking about upgrading your whole lineup or your whole deck. That's one card. So we're going to see Fireballs. Now, I wrote this, my guess is as to what will be upgraded first. And I said Fireballs, Arrows, Win Conditions, and Evolutions. Those are my guesses as to which cards are going to be upgraded first. Fireball, Arrows, Win Conditions, and Evolutions. Now, you could say other spells too, so maybe Zap, because it's a common, so it may have a higher rate of being upgraded first. So I probably put spells in the mix just as a whole. But if it were to be more specific, I would say, Fireball I think is going to be the most upgraded card to begin with. Then Arrows, Win Conditions, Evolutions. Now, as another point to that, this does affect balance changes, because let's say everybody updates Mega Knight to 15. Then you have to bring in Inferno Tower, regardless of what it is. Inferno Tower should be good enough to stop a Mega Knight even at level 15. But does that mean when the next balance changes comes in that Inferno Tower is getting reworked because so many people are using it to stop Mega Knight, but Inferno Tower is level 14 versus level 15? So do you update Zap? Do you make the change because of 15-14? It just made balance changes just more. It just made balance changes more wild. Like, we can't just consider, like the card versus card. It's like now they have to consider, are we doing it because of level 15? Are we doing it because of the mismatch? Are we doing it because of whatever the case is? It's crazy. I want to mention this tweet that a lot of people have posted on their videos talking about level 15, and this was kind of mind-blowing. I mean, I'm not going to go through all the the tweets about level 15, but this one right here from Galadon Gaming, great content creator. He says, I was extremely disappointed in the changes I saw to the season pass in Clash Royale, enough to convince me to never spend another penny in the game. And I've spent over $15,000 in Clash Royale. Then I watched a recent video from B-Rad about level 15, and I am completely horrified that the bizarre no gold way the change was handled. Now I fear for Clash of Clans that these decisions reflect upon the company, not just the team within that company. Transparency and honesty are critical if a company is to maintain the loyalty and trust of the community. It may be too late for Clash Royale. He is very correct on this. First off, I just want to say, I have, I know that I'm very fortunate to be able to spend money. I have spent a few $1,000s on this game, but when I saw $15,000, I was like, oh my gosh, I mean, I'm going to figure out a way to get this into the video and just talk about this, but dang, that's what I'm talking about. You have a person who's willing to spend money on this game say, no, I'm done. I'm not spending any more money until changes are made. When the diamond tier was announced for me, I was like, okay, I need to see whether it is worth it for me to get the diamond tier. Now that I have all of the cards I need, well, to get to level 14, there's no reason for me to get the diamond tier. Now I would have to get the diamond tier to get the evolutions for card evolutions. So there is a reason for me to still get the diamond tier. But this is what I'm talking about. This is what a lot of people are talking about in terms of level 15. It's just it is surface level a money grab right now. Okay, so who's going to be the most affected by these changes? I wrote down a few people who will be affected. First are the completionists. We got wrecked. So anybody who tried to get all the cards to level 14, sorry, you got to start over. We talked about that before. Okay. The next group of players who will be most affected are those who are on the fringe of top ladder, trying to get that next part of it. What I mean by that is anybody who is barely struggling to hold on against the top players, you have to win within the margins. I've said this before, like the lineup that I've used for the better part of 4 years, I had to win within the margins because I don't play the meta. So all of what I do is just really stretching out the abilities of what I can do to try to win a game. That's gone now. There's no opportunity to do that because any card that my opponent has that's level 15 just absolutely wipes out any opportunity to gain an advantage or stay even against my opponents. And I have next to no chance now of getting to top ladder without either joining the meta or somehow getting lucky where all my cards are level 15 and my opponents are not. And that's going to hurt. So with that being said, there's going to be a significant structure of 3 levels of ladder once level 15 comes into play. This is what I believe is going to happen. The first group is going to be those who can get to level 15 fully. No problem. They're just going to continue playing the game as if they're playing the game and like nothing changes for them because they have all the cards. They just have to worry about like matchups, the meta, and all that stuff. The next subset or next group, I would say, are those who get 1 or 2 cards to level 15. So that way they're able to win the matchups and have a slight advantage against a lot of the group of players who are struggling to keep up in the top ladder. They'll never beat a player who has a fully maxed out deck of 8 cards all at level 15. They'll never beat them. But maybe it gets closer, or maybe it gets the match gets a little tight, but they'll never win. It's probably a 99-1 matchup, I would say. And then there's everybody else. If you don't have a card that's at level 15, you're not done for, but you have no chance of getting to the top part of the ladder. And not only that, you have no chance or very little chance of getting to the higher tier where you can threaten to get in the top ladder. There's just no way. It's going to be too difficult for those players. We've seen this over the years. It's just so difficult for lower level cards to just break through. It's unfortunate, I would say. I would say it's unfortunate for those because that's just how Clash Royale life is right now. So just to repeat, the three groups I think this is going to separate into, and maybe it already has, just on a lower scale, is who can get to level 15 in full, then who can get at least 1 or 2 cards to level 15 and hang on, and then everybody else from there. Now, the next part that I've been trying to say is who's going to benefit from level 15? Because there's obviously, when there's changes, somebody's going to benefit and somebody's going to get hurt by it. Let's just say, who's going to benefit? I mean, obviously, everybody's going to see Supercell. I'm talking about those who play the game. Okay, so first one I had written down is anybody who has a maxed out account and money to play will definitely benefit from this. And the reason is just because they'll just buy chests and they'll get all the elite wild cards they need, and they're just going to level up to level 15 just as fast. That's just going to happen. You know, they're just going to be immediate benefactors from this. Who else is going to benefit? I wrote down my notes. I said anybody who can play a lot to even just get one upgrade, because right now I would say if you can, over the next few months, just get the one upgrade, you're going to be well ahead of a lot of the field that is just going to be struggling just to get one upgrade. If you can get one upgrade before anybody else, you're going to be, I mean, just like at a super advantage, I would say. And then over time, it's just going to be a race to who can get to 8 cards the fastest to level 15. And then that's basically it. So those who can even just get one upgrade right now, I think are going to benefit from level 15. I also wrote down in my notes the diamond tier question mark, because I'm not sure how much more, and I bet Rel API and others have written out like kind of the notes version of how the diamond tier people will benefit from it. I'm not sure how much they're going to get compared to everybody else. Like I am in the diamond tier. I'm just not sure. Like, okay, am I going to get a massive advantage over everybody, or am I going to struggle less, but still struggle to get there? I think we'll just have to see from this part. Okay, who is going to suffer from these changes? And it really just comes down to, I have in my notes, anybody who cannot match the amount of level 15 cards that their opponent has in a game. And this is even if it's 1 card and versus 0 cards. If it's just 1 versus 0, it doesn't have to be all 8. Or if you're playing, I guess if you're playing Clan Wars 2, it doesn't have to be all 24 cards. It just has to be 1. And that's it. You know? So anybody who can't match what their opponent has is pretty much done for in level 15. So now the next part is really, I have to realize that what I'm going to say is going to turn off a lot of people, because a lot of people said this is the end of Clash Royale. I wrote specifically in my notes, it is not the end of Clash Royale. Okay. I got to put it out there. It's not the end of Clash Royale, like a lot of people were saying. But ladder is going to take a big hit. And I will be 100% about that. Ladder is going to take a big hit with this update. It's just straight facts. The problem is, ladder is the bread and butter of Clash Royale. No matter how Supercell wants to put it, or how anybody else wants to put this, ladder is the bread and butter of this game. And Supercell has to know that they cannot mess with the main part of the game, and now they have multiple times. When you open up the game, 99% of the time, it is the button, the biggest button on there is to play ladder. Path of Legends or Trophy or whatever. That's the main thing we see when we turn on the game 99% of the time. And these changes to level 15 are just gonna hurt that part, which is the main part. This is what I don't understand about level 15. It's that it's gonna directly hurt ladder, nobody's going to want to play ladder like every day. I mean, I mentioned this is the second account you're seeing right now, not this game, but this is the second account that I started because of what happened. And before then, I was playing a lot of 2v2. Like I worked at a warehouse, and I would take the train every day to go to work. And on the train, I would be playing 2v2, just like all day. And the reason is because I didn't want to play 1v1 because I thought it was stressful. Even then, I thought it was stressful. I didn't want to deal with it. So I just played 2v2. Not for any sole purpose of, oh, I'm going to get all these cards and I'm going to do all these things. No, I just want to play 2v2. Just have fun with it. But I realized it was getting monotonous, and I was like, okay, if I want to do something, I actually got to start playing some ladder and try to move up on the ranks. And it was stressful then, and then the seasons came and all these changes and all that stuff. But now it's like, whew, these changes it's just going to hurt ladder so badly. It's like, man, I don't know. And not everybody can just grind 2v2 and be happy with that. At some point, they're going to have to say, okay, you know what? Path of Legends, we've got to figure that out, or something else. I don't know. It's just, it's something that's gonna have to make Supercell think about what these changes are. That's what I would say. So what can Supercell do? That's the thing. They've pretty much said they're committed to level 15. That's not changing. So the first thing I always would put down in my notes is like, I wrote several things. Okay, what can Supercell do? Obviously, the first one I put down is don't do it. Don't do level 15. That's what everybody's saying. Don't do level 15. Again, they're very clear that they're committing to level 15. Okay, so we have to not accept this because we can not accept it by not playing, or play only the modes that are non-level 15. So that's like the tournaments, the I guess challenges or something like that, and that'll be it. Where level 15 don't matter, but we can do that, or don't play the game, and that's fine. So another part I wrote down was change the requirement for level 15. So don't make it all these cards where the progression is going to take longer than someone who starts at level 1 today and gets to level 14. You got to change the requirement. So that's another note I wrote down that Supercell really needs to consider. Another part I wrote down, another idea, and this may already happen, but I just wrote down, I said Royal Champion level and below is level 14 max. So only if you get to Ultimate Champion would you even have to deal with level 15. And then I wrote down like kind of a sub note was that maybe only the top 1,000 have to do level 15. So only if you get to that top 1,000, because again, if you follow CRL, the way to qualify for the monthly is you have to be in the top 1,000 at the end of the season. So for those who want to get there and want to be on that pro status, yeah, you got to deal with level 15. For the rest of us, you don't have to. So it's really that type of commitment where it's okay. Do you want to push that high? Now I know some people might try to sandbag or whatever, but I mean that would be like a very small subset of players who could try to game the system to avoid level 15 all the way up to the end, I guess. So that's just something I also thought of was only Ultimate Champion, only top 1,000 have to deal with level 15. And now Supercell may say, okay, we need it to have a factor in the gameplay earlier than what I'm suggesting. So maybe it's Royal Champion. It would just be very, very bad to do it, in my opinion. So there was another idea that I was thinking about and could be iffy but you know, we just got to throw ideas out there. I would say is to introduce tournament level standard to ladder for a day or weekend or perhaps a season. And what I mean by that, and what does this have to do with level 15? I would say maybe a little bit, but if you think about it, like not everybody's going to be at level 15 in 6 months. Maybe they'll have like 1 or 2 cards if they're lucky. The way I see it is, if you make it a weekend, like let's say, you know how Gold Rush is pretty much a weekend, and in that time frame you can get extra gold. So in addition to making it extra gold, you just but you put everybody at tournament level standard and say, okay, you can try to climb up ladder as long as you can get and can continue to get gold in this Gold Rush moment. The moment you've collected all of the gold in Gold Rush, you go back to whatever level that you're on. So it's a good opportunity to get some wins under tournament level. Could work, could not work. I was just thinking about this idea or not. And what I do want to say about that is that if you do have level 15 cards, you would go down to tournament level standard. And if your cards are not at tournament level standard, they would move up there for this one time. It's just to get everybody on level regardless of where they are. So as long as you have the card for that weekend, it becomes tournament level standard. And that way you won't have to worry about level 15. So they can have level 15 in these different moments, but for a weekend or a day or whatever the case is, they could say, okay, we'll let everybody play under a certain level. Could work, could not work. I was just thinking different ideas because, again, it looks like Supercell is just going to be very set on keeping it at keeping level 15 the way it is right now. So the last part is, what am I going to do? And I've thought about this as I watched all these videos and looked at read all the notes and everything that's been happening. And for me, as you all know, if you watch my videos, I have never played the meta. And level 15 is not going to change the way I play. It's not going to change how I play. The diamond tier did not change how I play. The champions changed the way I play because that's an archetype that, and I believe this, that you have to have a champion in your lineup for you to do well in this game. That's just how I believe. Now it's proven to be not the case, but it's just, again, how I believe that you do have to have a champion in your lineup. It just gives you that extra advantage. For now, we'll see how the evolutions go. Evolutions will change how I play. Level 15 will not change how I play. I'm not going to be like, oh, you know, I'm going to quit because of level 15. If the game is bad, if the game becomes unplayable, then yeah, I will stop playing or I will take a break. I've talked about taking breaks when the game is not fun or when I feel like there's a need to take a break from when the game becomes very tilting. And it's happened before. You know, I took 6 months off. I've taken months off. It happens, you know. So I'll probably be taking another break, you know, if the game gets bad. If the game doesn't get bad, then, you know, I'll be around. I'll be playing ladder. I'll be playing ladder for fun, be playing challenges and tournaments and all that stuff. I'm not going to play the game more or less starting with this level 15 introduction. That's just basically that's my main point. I'm not going to be playing any different. So yeah, and I'll probably start playing more games on this channel, not just Clash Royale. And you've seen I used to have just Clash Royale and chess as the games I play. Now I have way more games available on my phone that I run through. So that's it for me. I'm going to end it here. Since this game is done, I'm going to end it here. And I just want to say, if you got to this point, thank you very much for let me talk about level 15. I know I've gone on longer than a lot of videos out there, but I just wanted to share everything that I had in my notes and just, tell you about my take on level 15. So again, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe button, and all the good stuff, and I'll see you in the next one.